Want to learn how to use slicers and pivot tables? Today, I'll show you everything you need to master them. We'll go from a simple list to having 2 pivot tables with pivot charts and slicers to easily segment your data. Let's get started. Imagine you work for Tesla, and Elon Musk has a big problem. Since the US government is going to ban TikTok, China decided to respond by banning Tesla. Holy cow! That's a huge sales loss, but how much exactly? That's what Elon wants you to figure out using this document with sales by year, country, and model. A perfect task for pivot tables and slicers. First, we'll get the sales by country. Select any part of your database. Then go to the Insert tab and select Pivot Table. Tell Excel you want it on a new sheet. Done. We want to see sales by country and year, right? Drag the years field to rows, countries to columns, and sales in dollars to values. There you go. Now let's make those numbers look pretty. Select any value in the table, right-click, and select Number Format. Under Currency, specify how many decimals you want. I'll set it to 0 because who needs decimals, right? Done. I think it would also be good to show the units sold by country. Although we could put it in the same pivot table, it's better to have it in a separate one because we want to create different pivot charts for each dataset. We don't need to create it from scratch since both pivot tables will use the same data source. Simply copy and paste the first pivot table. Then, change the fields. Delete the sales in dollars and add the units sold. Done! Now let's illustrate this data with some pivot charts. Select your pivot table, go to the Pivot Table Analyze tab, and select Pivot Chart. Excel will automatically give you a column chart, but it could use a little makeover to actually make sense. First, change the chart type to 100% stacked columns. With the chart selected, go to the Design tab and select Change Chart Type. Choose 100% stacked columns. Much clearer, right? For a final design touch, select Quick Layouts to see Excel's pre-made styles. I'll choose the first one. Much more understandable, isn't it? Now, just change the title to Sales by Year in US dollars. For the other table with units sold, it's the same process to create the pivot chart. So, I'll skip that part to avoid boring you. Abracadabra and boom! We have both pivot charts. Now, let's move on to the slicers. With your pivot table selected, go to the Pivot Table Analyze tab and select Insert Slicer. A window will open where you need to specify which fields to use for slicing. In this case, it would be useful to slice by country and model. Click OK and it will add these 2 slicers. Arrange them so they're not in the way. And if you want to see only the sales for the Cybertruck, select Cybertruck. Boom! The data segments instantly without applying any additional filters. Want to see the sales of both the Cybertruck and the Model S? Enable multi-selection by clicking the button with multiple checks, and also select the Model S. But here's a problem. If you notice, these slicers are only slicing one of your pivot tables and charts. This happens because they are only connected to the pivot table from which you created them. Let's fix that. To connect them, select your slicer. Go to the Slicer menu and click Report Connections. A window will pop up with your pivot tables. Make sure both are checked. Click OK and done. Repeat the same for the other slicer. Select it, go to Report Connections and check both pivot tables. Now, we said we wanted to see the sales from China, right? Select China and boom! Our slicers modify both tables and charts. Oh! Tesla is about to lose a huge amount of money. Feeling bad about Tesla's situation in China? Why not become a pivot table wizard and help Elon out? Check out my full course here. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the one to save the day while Elon takes all the credit. Fun,